Next one is going to be, we're going to need a bit more silence, a bit more paying attention. If this person is about to do some spoken word. So who's seen spoken word before? Who's seen spoken word before? So when someone, if you believe in something that the person said or you agree with it, you just do this, you click. You click, you pay attention to the words and you just click. Okay, are we ready? Yes? Are we ready? Amazing, then please give it up for the incredible A.G. Parker.
Hello. Promise you I'm still disabled without the stick. So I've got some poetry for you tonight, and my memory is shit, so I'll be reading from my book for the most part. This one is called Casual Eugenics. I'm sure when you talked about herd immunity, you didn't necessarily have me in mind. I'm sure when this country was debating the fate of this nation, deciding which of the population had enough worth to be kept alive, you didn't specifically think of me or my disability. Still, it hurt watching you weigh up all the pros and cons, slamming protests, protecting statues of bronze in the economy, while sacrificing thousands casually. You really didn't think of me or the others who needed you. These times of desperation are not the finest of the nation. They show how many of us, when afraid, will begin a small flirtation with damnation, saying, "It's fine, God, let them die, but please not me or my relations." We were the collateral damage for your pilgrimage to the beach, but even the corresponding peak in death didn't teach you anything. Another week and there's another image. You like 1,000 grains of sand. You jammed into bars like red ripe fruit in a jar, pint in hand. These times of desperation show ours to be a callous nation, brazen with determination to go on vacation, faces impatient as they yell, "It's fine, God! Let them die, but I deserve this occasion for me and my relations." And I hasten to add, we paid the price for you ignoring sage advice. I'm not pointing fingers, but as someone whose disability tends to wear a cloak of invisibility, I've heard it all, what you think of me, and others like me. Or maybe it wasn't you I heard. Maybe you were one of those who stayed quiet, compliant, complicit with the explicit plan to let disabled people take the brunt of this pandemic. Don't tell me that's not eugenics. 80,000 of us died to a battle we were never meant to win, in a flutter of papers that prodded readers like cattle into believing that herd immunity was for the best, with no thought of our community, us who you deem unfit for page 3 equality or society anyway. It's easy to shout over those who couldn't even come out of their homes and protest, and perhaps that's best, because I saw you there, blaming protests for deaths, making scapegoats of those who wanted to escape white supremacy and rape. Protests didn't kill 130,000. Sure, there was crowding, but people spouting this nonsense just use it for their own astounding agenda. Well, here's a fact. Disabled people made up 60% of deaths in this pandemic. You can't tell me that's not eugenics. What killed them was a trident of a lack of compassion, greed, ableism, capitalism wielded by the establishment. It's indefensible. These deaths preventable, but our government stood there and said it's acceptable that we were expendable. And you just went along with it. Society was never accessible, but now, with 80,000 of us dead to a battle we couldn't win, you have the chance to begin again. Include us. These times of desperation could inspire the transformation of this, our fractured nation. We just need a new equation, one without alienation or otherness, but with something more profound than tolerance. And it starts with you, my audience. Now's the time for innovation. Equitable representation in politics would lead to unbiased legislation, embracing all the variations of the disabled population. Give us invitations to places we can actually travel to and accessible stations. Keep streaming shows to remote locations. Choose event destinations with consideration of integration and always proper communication to enable education for all. These adaptations and declarations of equality, such simple affirmations of our belonging in society, and with them, you'd see, we're just like you and your relations, deserving of life and all the wonders of creation. Wow, thank you so much, Bar Wotever. You guys are amazing. Yeah, it's been a really traumatic 18 months for anyone that isn't cis, white, able-bodied, male. I've lost a lot of friends. No one's died. They've just come out as racist, homophobic, or... So glad that you're gonna laugh. Okay, switching it up a bit, this is a poem about a butterfly. It's from an upcoming collection that I'm writing about being in the weird, wibbly, wobbly borderlines of being non-binary, disabled, and pansexual. Genandromorph. In 2011, a great Mormon butterfly, wings like David Bowie's eyes, emerged under a chaotic sky. A surprise to all as it fluttered, flaunting different magpie colours on either wing, like someone had taken a pen and drawn the middle... Fuck me. You guys are too easy. A surprise to all as it fluttered, flaunting different magpie colours on either wing, like someone had taken a pen and drawn a line down the middle of this queen king, like gender was a thing it had maybe had a fling with once but didn't fancy calling back. Genandromorph. Each half was its own unique wonder. One half thunder, the other a summer field of buttercups. It's like they couldn't decide what to wear, who to be upon coming out, so they did it all. Their cocoon, a small portal to immortality, or at least the feeling of it anyway, because that's what gender euphoria feels like. When you get it right, you know you have the power of a god within your bones. You feel at home, owned by no one but yourself. Ready to create outward from your point of truth, knowing you'll fight tooth and nail for others who are like you and different from you and are utterly themselves. Genandromorph. It's when a creature is born divided, half female, half male. It's both, it's neither. It happens in a range of species, including spiders and birds, but it's unheard of in humans, and there's a range of theories about how it occurs. Mostly about sperm, but maybe it's also a wish. People laud this bug for turning into a butterfly, create bumper stickers, fridge magnets, sing its praises under the guise of well-wishing, saying, it turned into something beautiful, you will too. Forgetting that this butterfly had to totally dissolve into goo before it could re-emerge as something admirable. Well, when it feels unpalatable to live in your own skin, you've got no choice but to begin again, to go beyond what's imaginable and into the unfathomable, and that takes considerable strength. But I bet you go to any lengths to do it again, because I don't know if anyone told you this, but you can't be anyone you want to be. You can only be you and who you're meant to be. And I am queer of gender and sexuality, and I can't and I wouldn't want to change that any more than I would my disability. Queer is how I am not bound by the rigid structures of society and how we should be. Queer is vulnerability and the finest armour, folded and hammered into something unfuck-withable, not caring if it's socially permissible. Queer is the ebb of gravity as I slip into the streams of possibilities that are held within nature's palms and within that word queer. Queer is freedom. Queer is beauty unabashed. It's strong thighs like the stem of a flower holding beauty up, open to the world. Queer is how I don't fit, and it's how I am at home. Queer is every soldier of that cis-het patriarchy, mown down, sighed like corn, left sweet, delicious for our militia to eat. Queer is how I embrace the start of each day, arms wide and open, welcoming the sky and its chaos and whatever the day may bring, because I am of the earth and I know chaos too. Queer is knowing that I am the chaos of the sky, and just like that butterfly, I can't hide, I can only be me. And I see how lucky I am that I can do that. Now it's 2021 and I've dissolved 100 times, trauma wrapped around me like a cocoon, and each time I've considered emerging, I've thought, what, this outfit? No, I want both, I want neither. I want something bespoke, created just for me. Not one of those rigid, assigned at birth labels that comes with a list of expectations and restrictions. I want to re-emerge as something undeniably me that says to the world, you're free to invent yourself. It's about turfs. I just want to put out there that I have got a fantasy novel published, so if anyone wants to read something other than Harry Potter, you can buy my book for only $2.99 from Kindle. Okay, this is really highbrow. This is called Where do I piss? I know I'd usually use the ladies' loo or one that welcomes all genders too, but even though I have a vagina and keep said vagina firmly attached, I feel like me and ladies don't match. With all those TERF jokers on the loose and all her followers to boot, I feel like I'll be asked to apparism my magic box because I don't have luscious locks or present or feel feminine. I love the person that just snorted. I cheer for you. Because I don't have luscious locks or present or feel feminine in my heart, and I know she loves verifying credentials and parts for membership to her club, hyper-focused on parts that I don't even want to be a part of. And apart from all that, TERFs can get bent. But if I use the gents you see pretty quick, I haven't got a broomstick and I left my rubber dick at home, alone. And I don't belong standing at a urinal, leg braced against the wall, trying to muster up enough aim and directional force to ensure the course of my piss doesn't soak the floor or miss and get my shoes. So, this is my dilemma. It doesn't feel clever not to have access to somewhere to do the things we all need to do. So then, the disabled loo, surely this is one club I've got membership to. Only they're usually out of order or require an aloe amora to open the fucking thing because management think disabled people don't come out or leave the house. It's just used by crackheads and louts for coke-fueled shags and transactions. But I promise, that's only a small fraction of its uses. Some of us just need a wee, but if I ask for the key, I have to prove my disability to people who don't believe me or even believe in me, the genetically queer gender mutineer with a disability, wearing a fucking cloak of invisibility. My friend Rosie shits in the woods. And I've got to say, folks, good. She shouldn't have to, but with all we've withstood, left misunderstood, we will fill the neighbourhood with disabled poo. Because what else can we do when people are policing our loos, genitals, physical capability and gender, but bear all like a bear and tell a gender-critical fucknugget to go piss in a bucket if they're that scared of our community members? And remember, every time you piss and flush, a TERF gets a savage dose of thrush.